this is the wrong data type, of course. And if we try to change it, we come here and say, if we say if amount dot dot last time, and we want to change it, it's a decimal, so we'll change it to float. We are going to have an error, one error telling us what is wrong. So we'll come down, we say could not convert string to float. The string is free. The name of the string is free. So we have to now replace free with what? Can someone suggest what we should replace free with? Keep in mind that it is a numeric column. So probably Uber was running some promotional campaigns to get customers, and they gave free rides to customers, right? So those free rides were entered as free in terms as text. So what do we change free to? Because we need to change the data type, and for us to change the data type, we have to change free to a figure. So what figure do you think we can change free to? Can someone let us know that? What figure can we change free to in this column, numeric column? Anyone?
Zero naira, I think.
Okay, 0 naira. Someone else wanted to speak?
Yeah, it was 0 I wanted to say, ma.
Okay, correct, actually, because they didn't pay any money, and the value has to be a number. So 0 simply qualifies. So now we'll have to change or replace free, that is the word, to 0. So we'll do the same thing we did. Let me just copy this to my mouse. Default dot replace free with 0. Let me check if the spelling is correct. So this would mean that any 0 value in this column will automatically be seen as a free ride. So 0 is a valid value in this column. So you see that data moves a lot with context. If they understand, whoever is seeing the data, if they understand the context, then they can easily know what to do with the data, as against when you don't explain yourself. Because I'm assuming that if you're working on this project as a data analyst, you're going to explain to your stakeholder that this is what 0 means, because free doesn't translate to a number, so we had to put 0 there. So when you see 0, just know that free ride was given, and so on. So context matters a lot. If you have no values in rating, it means that person did not rate. And since it is a numeric column, except if we want to change this to a text column. If we want to change this to a string, then we can just call this a string value, and maybe or is going to be like it will be recorded as a string, and then maybe we'll change null values to not rated or no rating. Else we can just leave it or make it a numeric value and make the null values 0, because where there are null values simply means that person did not rate their ride, which most of us do actually. We don't have the time to rate rides, and we just move on with our lives after our rides. So that's what we're saying. So I need you guys to tell us what's the best step to take for the rating. Are we changing the rating to a text value and filling the null values to not rated, because we'll be able to enter text into the column if we change it to a string, or we can leave it as a numeric column and just fill up all of the null values with zeros, or even just leave the null values. Whoever did not rate their ride, it is left blank. So you can just think about that and give me an answer while we work with payment method. So for payment method, what we need to do is convert f to lowercase by using the dot string dot lower, and then someone wants to say something. Yeah, you can go ahead.
I think we should use number values. So 5 for the people who got rated 5 star, and 0 for those who are not rated at all.
Okay. Why? What's your rationale?
So that way it makes it easier for someone that is looking at this in the data set to know, okay, this is rating, and 5 means 5 star, 4 means 4 star. So it's better that way. Keeps the data even cleaner too. But I think we should leave it in what's it called? Instead of that number, we should make it a string kind of number, that kind of number where we cannot use for calculation and analytics.
Good point. For the sake of making you can go ahead if your hand is up.
Yeah, I will suggest we use a number value for that, because those are being given everything can just be 0. Let's assume my take for that is because let's assume we are trying to get a percentage of of the ratings. Let's assume that let's say the people with five-star ratings, how many percent in total are they getting from the total percentage of rating? Just like that. So if we don't have like a value for those columns, it's really difficult for us to put it in percentage. So that's just my take on that.
Which I get his points. I get your points totally. Go ahead, Nathaniel. Are you one that just spoke?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, I get your point. So that in case we want to carry out mathematical calculations, we'll be able to do that. Fair point, fair point. Now it depends on who is handling the data, right? But since we are seeing numbers in the column, right? Since what we're seeing are numbers, ratings are numerical. Let's leave it as is, which is numerical. So that whoever is handling the data will not be confused, right? They will not look at a number and see that it is not a number. Ratings, most times we don't, of course, you can find averages in ratings and so on. So yeah, but they are not actual facts columns. So it's not that deep. Any one of these scenarios, even leaving the blank as is, can work. It just depends on the direction of the overall analysis. Are we going to think of average ratings? Are we going to see the rating, the rating margin, people who rate and people who don't rate? We can find that out. It just depends on who is handling the data and what they want. So this goes to demonstrate that context is a lot of things in data analysis. It depends on the context. Many things, 5 different things can be right, but it just depends on the context, right? So all the techniques we could use are actually good techniques, right? If you want to change it to string for the sake of specifying those who did not rate, it is a good idea. It is a good thing. If you want to leave it as numbers and whatever, it is a good thing and so on. It just depends on who is handling the data and the direction of the analysis. So let's assume that the person who wants to have this data, the finished, like the cleaned data, let's assume that they would prefer it to be in numbers and see the people who did not rate their right in zeros. Now, let's come back to payment method. Let's find the unique values in payment method. So we see we have cash transfer, like I said, excuse me, Python is case sensitive, and that's why we have cash and cash here. We have card and card here. So, and we have null values. And I mentioned we will be carrying out imputation for the null values. We use the mode as the most occurring value here. But first we have to clean this. And to do that, we are changing all the values to lowercase, small letters. So once we can make all of the case the same, you see the changes. You see the influence it will have. Now, all of those multiple spellings are gone because everything is now in one spelling format. So we have cash transfer, card, bank transfer. So we have to now replace transfer. We have to replace transfer with bank transfer because these two things are the same. So I'll come down here and use the dot replace. So you see that dot replace is a very, very important function in Python when we are carrying out cleaning. So especially for text values. So we take transfer. Transfer is the wrong value. Transfer and bank transfer. Bank transfer. Then we say dot string because I can simply come here and write a new line and say dot string dot proper or dot title rather. But I can just add it to this line of code and it will work. Dot string dot title. If you want uppercase, dot string dot upper, lowercase, dot string dot lower. So this will give us like proper standardization. And then we can go ahead to field. I hope I'm still on this call. Okay. Alhamdulillah. And then the next thing we want to do is field the null values with what? With mode. To specify the index, the first value. And we can run this and come here. It's taking so much time for this class. Oh, it's for the sake of learning. Why do we still have, did we not fill fair amounts? Oh, yeah, we have 0 values in fair amounts. So what we'll do with fair amount now is we'll fill the null values with 0 because we are assuming that those values are also free. Now, in your documentation, you must add this information. You must add this information so that you just for the sake of transparency and so that you also can defend yourself in the future. So the dot fill NA and fill NA with 0. So I'll come back. It's gone. We see here that we have been able to clean our data And yeah, I think let's see if you're in the right data type here. Dot be types. I'm guessing dates. Okay, dates is correct in the normal format. So all of these are text. This is decimal. Fair amount is decimal. Duration is whole number. Payment method is string. We have made written integer and so on. So we have successfully cleaned this data set. Somebody say power.
Oh wow.
Power. Michelle, I know it's a plenty fast.
Power indeed, because this was a lot of work. So we have been able to successfully clean the data, but we need to see how much data we lost because